Yo, what's going on? What's going on? Welcome to another episode of Empire Jeff TV, coming to you on a Friday night, man. Lakers post-game edition after the Lakers lost game one of their preseason to the Minnesota Timberwolves, 124-107 in Palm Springs, California, man. We're going to break all this down. We're going to talk about all the things that went on tonight and sit back, relax. We're going to chill for a bit and appreciate you guys tuning in. Appreciate you guys tuning in on game one of the preseason. Going to be a long season, man. Going to be a long season. I'm not saying it's going to be long because the Lakers are going to be terrible. I'm just saying the months. You know what I mean? It's going to be months. Got a long season ahead of us. We get to watch basketball. We get to cover basketball. We get pregame, postgame, all the different stories, the highlights, the live streams of the games on PlayBackTV where I was tonight. So it's going to be fun, man. It's going to be fun, man. Just getting back in the swing of things when it comes to basketball. I'm used to doing the post-game shows, man. Did a pre-game show earlier today. Check that out if you missed it. But a lot of things to talk about tonight. All right, a lot of things to talk about tonight. Game one went about as well as you thought a game one of a preseason would go when you don't have Braun or AD playing. You've got some young guys out there. You've got some guys who were injured last year trying to get some minutes. Even though they were teammates last year, they don't have any real chemistry. There's a lot of things that you got to sort through in this short preseason schedule. And the Lakers are doing that right now. There were some guys that were standouts. There were some guys that were terrible. We're going to touch on that. JJ did some Darvin Hamish things out there today, 4-guard lineup and, and a couple of different things. However, you don't have Braun, you don't have AD. You're just trying to plug guys in. I don't think that happens during the regular season. I had guys messaging me, why 4 guards? What's going on? Like, it's preseason, bro. Like, these are not going to be normal rotations. But my concern and sense with Jackson Hayes remains. This guy is not a backup center. The Lakers are in desperate need of one. And when there's no AD out there and there's no Christian Wood, so AD eventually is going to miss some games. And Christian Wood, when that happened last year, didn't answer the call. Jackson Hayes is not capable of answering the call. So the Lakers desperately need another big man. Shooting was not great tonight, obviously. I don't even care about stats tonight. I barely looked at a stat sheet just because in a game like this, you don't really need to care about that. You're looking at a bunch of different things out there. What are they running? They ran one play when they had a bunch of their young guys out there. And it was JHS, it was Bronny, and it was Kelly. And you could tell immediately they went to a set and they ran it. Now, plays like that and stuff that they put in there, we saw some wrinkles of some things that JJ is going to be running. We saw one where they did a pin down and there was something from backdoor that got a layup. They got one that got max at the rim, finished it with 2 hands. So there were things that they were doing. They gave us a little sample size of what things they may run when they decide to showcase their offense and put things out there. So Jackson Hayes was terrible tonight. D'Lo was terrible tonight. Rui was terrible tonight. Dalton Knecht was great. I like what we saw from Max Christie. I like what we saw from Gabe Vincent. I know he got put into a situation where he had to do a couple of those bailout shots where guys were throwing him the ball when it was like towards the end of the 24-second clock. But outside of that, he had a pretty decent game. Like I said, Knecht, Max Christie, and Gabe Vincent were the guys. AR wasn't terrible. He had spurts there. He started the game pretty bad, wasn't able to hit his shots. But he got some things going later on. But outside of that, JHS, I really wasn't impressed with again tonight. I was hoping to see the guy get healthy, see what he can do out there and what he can bring to the table when he's not hurt. And he had a couple of moments, had some good passes. Hit a jumper or two on a pull-up that I liked, but he had, was fumbling the ball. He slipped and basically face planted the first time he got in the game. So there were some things I didn't love about his performance tonight. Probably some nerves out there. He's got to settle down, especially after the year he had last year. But D'Lo didn't love what I saw from him. Like I said, Rui did not like what I saw from him tonight. And Kelly was atrocious. I was losing my mind on playback. I was like, this guy is basically Final Destination because every time anything near him ended badly. You know what I mean? They had that one play I mentioned where it was JHS, Bronny, and him where he got the bounce pass and dunked it. But outside of that, everything else that entered his space ended badly. This guy's not it, at least not in this game. Austin Reaves looked leaner out there today. I don't know if I'm tripping, but he almost looked taller because he was leaner. Maybe that's by design to make him a little bit better defender, to be able to have a little bit better foot speed, a little better reaction time. I don't know, but I don't know if it's me. He looked leaner out there today. Dalton Knecht, we got one. We got one in Dalton Knecht. We definitely got one in him. I would say we stole him, but everyone knows that already. He slipped to us, and we had no choice but to take him, basically. He saved the Lakers from themselves, but we got one with him. Hands down a rotational player. He is going to contribute this year in game one. They got one in him. And there wasn't a bunch of other stuff you could really be excited about from tonight. There wasn't a lot of things. You had that typical preseason where a team gets down big, makes a comeback, makes it a game, and then it's either that team who came back blows out the team they were getting blown out by, or that other team just has another run and blows them out. That's kind of how preseason goes early on. And I'll tell you what, though, I really we got to see a little sample of it as well. I really like Dante in Minnesota. I think he's gonna have a good role there. I think he's gonna play well. I think he's gonna give them an extra layer that they didn't have last postseason. Him with Ant, him ever to spell Conley, be able to spell Ant and play out there with Ant in situations where Conley's struggling to score and they don't want him out there just to set the table. Dante was a great pickup for them. And depending how this Randall fit goes, this remains to be seen, obviously. Depending how Randall fits there, Minnesota could actually end up better than last year. They really can. We got to wait to see. I don't know which way this is going to go. I feel like Randall holds the keys to that because I think Dante is going to be great. Got to see how Randall fits in there. But the way the Lakers were today, I did see JJ chewing some guys out. He definitely burned through his timeouts. So I know a lot of people were happy to see that. But outside of that, he was using some rotations, obviously, that he would not use in the regular season. He's not going to have a 4-guard lineup in the regular season. That's not going to happen. But we are definitely in trouble when it comes to big men. We are absolutely in trouble. We have no size. Now, obviously, we're missing Braun and AD out there, two big guys, right? Even Braun's not a 7-footer, but he's a guy that can get rebounds and he clogs up space. And AD, obviously, and no Christian Wood. But they need to find one way or another prior to the trade deadline. Like, this needs to happen now, prior to December 15th, when other teams are able to start moving guys, right? They need to really go after a guy now. I don't know who that guy is. I don't know what the deal is, what the move is. I know Jonas Valanciunas is available as of December 15th, but the Lakers may not be able to wait that long to get a secondary big. If Christian Wood is out until early November, which isn't terrible because he's only going to miss maybe a week or two of the season. If he's not able to come in and give you anything, and he's not the type of big that we're talking about. Like, he's a stretch 5, right? He's a stretch 5, stretch 4. He's not a big that's going to go chest to chest with these bigs and clog up the middle and help AD on those boards. That's not what he brings. Jackson Hayes is just too light. At best, he's a 3rd-string center, right? In my opinion, at best, if that. He is not a 2nd-string center. He'll never be a starting center on any type of team that has any aspirations of being anything. As I've said multiple times, he's great in pace and in space. As soon as there's traffic, he's done. And he had a couple, like an and one. He had a couple rolling to the basket. But this guy is not a guy you're going to be able to count on. We all know that. We all know this. And it's not even about AD playing the 4. It's not even about AD not playing the 5. We just don't have a secondary big at all. We don't have a backup 5. We don't have a bruising 5. We don't have that type of guy. And without that, we're going to be in serious trouble. That's something they are going to absolutely have to address. We know this. They know this. But when are they going to fix it? Because you can't go too deep in the season without that secondary big. And I just don't know who or where it's coming from. Koloko is a athletic rim running guy, right? He's got length. He's got bounce. He's got all that. But he's not that type of big I'm talking about either. He's the Hayes replacement, right? He's the Hayes replacement. He's the guy like that can be there like it'd be AD and the other guy that's going to be like the strong big, right? And then you're going to have Christian Wood and Koloko as those other bigs. We need that Valanciunas like guy, Steven Adams, Nurkic type, like the big. Not saying those guys make too much money as far as like Nurkic, stuff like that. But Valanciunas is possible. Steven Adams is a guy that I don't understand why he's not chased after by these teams. But I know he's had injury history. Robert Williams III has injury history. All these bigs, Mitchell Robertson, injury history. They've all got injury history, right? So if you're going to go after one of these guys, you got to roll the dice on one of them because they've all got injury history. But outside of that, like I said, they find themselves in a situation where if they don't go get a big soon, they're going to be in trouble. And they don't even need to really count on Valanciunas for much of anything than just being a big body, right? They need a big body. They need something like that. Maybe not even necessarily him. I'm just using his physicality as a point of reference. They need something like that. They don't need a skinny big, a long big. They don't need another one of those. They need a tough big is what they need. And like I said, I don't know where that's going to come from. I don't know who that's going to come from. But that should be at the very top of their list. And, we're going to give it to, a few more preseason games. And we got to see how this looks in the beginning of the season before we truly know what we have. Like you can never overreact to a game one of the preseason. Even if they blew this team out by 30, you shouldn't overreact in excitement. This game really told us nothing other than the fact that the Lakers are going to be giving some pretty serious minutes to Max Christie, Dalton Knecht, and Gabe Vincent. I feel that's going to be the case. And whatever happens from there with these other guys. We'll see what goes with D'Lo. We'll see what goes with Reaves. But I'm going to tell you, we absolutely got one in Dalton Knecht, and teams are going to want him in any deal that the Lakers try to make. Every team is going to want Dalton Knecht. The Lakers must resist. I don't care what the deal is. Don't do it. I'm not talking. I'm talking like for the guys they've been linked to, like a Jeremy Grant, like that. Like absolutely, that's a non-starter. If it comes down to where a star becomes available, or like an all-star level player, then okay, you take the call, you listen. But anything outside of that, any of the guys they've been linked to, any of the guys in Brooklyn, you know what I mean? Like any of the guys in Orlando, any of the guys like the Portland, no, you do not move him in that type of deal. You got one in him. You found one in him. This kid is teams in a lottery are going to wish they picked him, and we got him, and he's going to impact this team this season, and he's going to get some pretty decent minutes. I'm telling you, man. I think Gabe is going to get some pretty decent minutes out there too, man. He was going through picks. Even when he went under, he was darting forward on them. He was fighting through them. He got an and one where he took some pretty serious contact and still made it with that contact concentration. He hit a three in the corner. Like I said, outside of those guys passing him the ball for some bailout stuff, I really like what I saw from him today. So that is pretty much the rest of the guys. Like Bronny, we could talk about Bronny. Bronny had a couple of nice defensive plays, right? He just looks so small out there. It looks like when you see all the guys and you see him, it looks like that video game where you create your own player and like just make like he don't look like a man out there, right? I'm not talking trash. I just, we saw him in Summer League. We saw this, but seeing him out there with grown ass NBA men, he just looks small. And his body needs time to mature and fill out and bulk up and all that. I understand that. He just looks small out there. He did have some burst. Like I said, he made a couple of good plays offensively where he got the ball, made the right pass, made the right read. Just his ability to try to score the basketball right now is just absolutely not there. So you knew he was going to get minutes today. He's going to get minutes in the preseason. He probably gets minutes in game one of the season so he can be on the floor with his pops. And then after that, he is on his way to the G League. So what are your guys' thoughts on the game tonight, man? Who were your standouts? Who were you happy with? Who were you unhappy with? What did you think of JJ on the sideline? I do like how he was pulling guys aside. I do like how he was kind of chewing out Jackson Hayes in the beginning there. I do like that that we did get to see some sets with the younger guys. So there was some organization there. We got to see, like I said, just a little bit of the samples there of what may be coming in some of the wrinkles of some of that Lakers offense there. So appreciate you guys tuning in, man. We had the pregame. I did the live stream during the game and back here too in post game, man. So don't know how long this one's gonna go. I'm starting to get a little tired here, but it's all good, man. Chris, the art director. Salute, Chris. Good to have you here, brother. He said, pray for the Lakers season, man. Man, we don't know what we are yet. We don't know what we have yet. We got to see Bron and AD. We got to see what JJ is really putting in here. Like I said on the pregame, we don't know yet, and we're not going to know after one game. That's for sure. Zachary, what's going on, man? He said, looks good. Jeff, Max, and Dalton going to get a lot of minutes. Yep, absolutely. That definitely, you can see that right now. Those two and Gabe Vincent is going to be part of the plan for sure. Tyrone, what's going on, Tyrone? I didn't watch how the centers look. Horrible, horrific. You put that probably before I was talking about that. Dalton and Christie. Yep. What's going on, Craig? Appreciate you. Festo, what's going on, man? He said, what's up, Jeff? Appreciate you, bro. Shando, what's going on, man? Get JHS out of here. Yeah, man. I was looking forward to see what he looked like when you know healthy. You always hear this in training camp and media day, and it's always like, this guy looks great. He stands out. Yada yada yada. So I try to tell you, I don't listen anymore to that stuff. I've got to see it. And he had just a couple of moments today. They weren't spectacular, but a couple of moments, but just too many non-moments, too many. No JHS, right? And so I don't know, man. I don't know if it's because it's the first game back. I don't know, but didn't love what I saw from him today. Now I see why guys like Vando starting Rui is a 6-man at best. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. I don't like the starting lineup of D'Lo, Austin, and Rui, Bron, and AD. I don't like that lineup. And I understand that JJ said he's going to play that offense that led to the, I understand that, but that's also Darvin ran that off that starting five. That lineup had the most possessions of any lineup the Lakers had. So I don't know why everyone's acting like Darvin didn't run that lineup. He did. My thing is that without Vando or someone in that 3 spot who could lock people the F up, it's going to be problematic. Like, I'm not saying they can't play stretches with that lineup. I'm not saying that Rui can't come off the bench and be the 3 in that lineup as the first guy off the bench. But one of those guys, if it's going to be Rui at the 3, then one of those guys in the backcourt got to come off the bench. You got to get Max or Gabe in there. And I think they're going to have to recognize that rather quickly. And then secondly, you're going to have to get another big man. I'm going to keep harping on that like we've been harping on all summer. We absolutely need to get another big man. Savage, what's up, man? Jackson Hayes is actually terrible, man, defensively. The 3rd string center for the Wolves was better than him. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it's not like someone like Jackson Hayes, if he's on the floor with Bron and AD, then okay, because he's going to be wide open, dunker spot, filling a lane. That's all right. But having him as the primary big on a team without one of those guys out there, no, you are playing with fire and you are asking to get burned. Shando said Rui could be a good piece on a right team like the Spurs, but not what we need. It's a lot of redundancy, with him out there. You got Knecht now. You got Bron obviously playing. I'm telling you right now, like, I'd rather start Knecht than Rui. Call me crazy, but that guy will defend better. He's got like his overall movement on defense is better than Rui's, right? And I understand what Rui brings to a team, though. Like, I'm not saying Rui's trash. I'm just saying Dalton Knecht, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, he's a winning basketball player, an absolute winning basketball player. And he's not like a one and done. So he's got some poise, right? Like, he's not your typical rookie at all. And I think he's going to slowly but surely start taking minutes away from people. Savage says, Rui looked so bad defensively, it's crazy. Yeah, it didn't even look like he wanted to be out there, Savage. Like, maybe he didn't. Maybe he was just going through the motions. Maybe he was like, you got to understand too. And maybe I'm not doing him any justice by not bringing this up. But hold on, what just happened? Keep in mind that Rui got hurt like in last training camp at the beginning of last season. So maybe he's just really trying to kind of just coast along here, maybe go through the motions, maybe avoid that type of thing. And maybe he was told to. I don't know. I have no idea. But all I know is he didn't look like he was too interested in playing too many minutes tonight or being effective out there tonight. He had the dunk, he had the three on the pass from Bronny. But outside of that, like defensively, that dude is just, and this is I've been saying for a while. I remember some people saying like last postseason, like to play him at the 2. I'm like, are you out of your mind? I'm like, are you out of your mind? That's craziness. Like it's positionless basketball. No, that's stupid basketball. Get out of here with that. Shando says, we desperately need a big man. Rob, get the phone ready, bro. F it. Yeah, they know that. We know that. The problem is the rest of the league knows that too. I actually like Bronny. He good on defense. I mean, he can defend. I don't know how many NBA level point guards he's going to be able to defend, but he's also not. I mean, right now, he's also not going to be out there much to defend them. Dalton is a steal. Absolutely. Absolute steal. Tyrone says, that's the golfing he did. Oh, okay. Maybe. Dalton, Max, Gabe all look good out there, but we need size badly. Yep. That's what stood out to me. Those three were the guys who stood out to me. What also stood out was a complete lack of size. And again, no Braun, no AD, which is size. Festo says, JHS was okay to me, just nerves. Bronny was terrible. AR was blah. That is absolutely fair. If only we drafted Lively or Hawkes, even Whitmore or Pods. Lively wasn't available for us. He got drafted early, but the rest we had a shot at for sure. Satro, what's going on, sir? He said, yo, salute Jeff in chat. Salute to you, brother. Appreciate you for tuning in. Dalton has heart. He definitely got heart, man. Big baby, what's going on, man? I saw some encouraging things. Yeah, no, I'm saying I did too. I saw some encouraging things. Like I said, it's game 1 of the preseason. I told the people on Playback, there's going to be a bunch of people overreacting to this game on both sides. It's going to be people 100% saying, they're upset, they're cooked, these guys are trash. And you're going to have guys on the other side, oh, guys, it's just preseason. Don't worry, they're going to be great. Neither one of those are right? Yes, it is preseason. Some guys will be fine, but there were some things I was not happy with tonight, right? There were some things that I was like, okay, they'll be fine. They're just going through the motions right now. But like I said, D'Lo doesn't really have the privilege to sit back and act like things don't matter right now. We need intensity. We need intensity from D'Lo at every turn. We absolutely do. So I didn't love his game tonight at all, right? But at the same time, it's also game 1 of the preseason. So I need to see something more from him in game 2. Satcho says, 100, we need some big size. We need some size. Yeah, man. Wendell Carter, and draft picks needed. They need that big. They definitely need that big. They definitely need that. Sorry, man. Lucky has been acting an absolute fool all night. Damn near had to shut down the playback stream because this dude is on one tonight. I apologize, guys. JHS looked better, still looks nervous. He needs to let it fly in the preseason. Yeah, he needs to get his confidence back. That's for sure. That's one thing I've been saying, though. Val is not good. And this dude, Kelly, but I'm telling you, he was so horrible. Yeah, Val. Jonas is not a type of big the Lakers need at all. He's terrible. He wouldn't be playable in the playoffs. He would be playable in the playoffs when they've got a really strong big. But absolutely, I'm not saying Jonas is the answer. I'm saying we need a guy of size like that. We don't need an athletic, long big. We need a power, strong big. I'm using him as an example. Like I said him, the Nurkic's type, like the really big guys. We need a big dude. You know what I mean? Is what we need. I don't care if it's Jonas. We need someone of size, like real size. Dan Inspiration, what's going on, man? Lakers should be able to get Steven Adams right from Houston, maybe 2 second-round picks. And Gabe, that's one guy I've got my eye on. I'm surprised a lot of guys haven't talked about him. I've been mentioning him for a few weeks now. Thing about him is I don't know what their plans are for him in Houston. I don't know. And it's not like they're a team that has aspirations of making the playoffs. So they're not just going to take nothing for him. They want something that can contribute. Outside of that, his injury history, that's the thing. Like I said, him, Robert Williams, like Mitchell Robinson, the bigs that the Lakers are kind of quote unquote attached to, all of these guys have injury issues and injury concerns. Robert Williams already hurt out for 2 weeks. Yeah, he hurt his hamstring. So like I said, you got these guys. That's a typical training camp preseason injury, though. You get guys, especially guys who ended the last season on an injury, come in. You always start to see hamstring issues during ramp-up periods in training camp. This is not abnormal, but when it happens to someone like Robert Williams, who's constantly hurt, then it just doesn't help the cause or the narrative. Dan Inspiration said, or trade Vando and 2 second-rounders for Steven Adams. Now, see, Houston probably would be interested in that. That's something, if it became to a point where we really needed to do that deal, that's something I think Houston would consider even more than like Gabe Vincent, obviously. Christie looked young, too, in his rookie year, too. Just Max should have gotten a lot more minutes last year, should have gotten a lot more opportunity last year. And to be fair to Darvin, a little bit, when he did start to get some minutes and when he was given his chances, when he got hurt. And then it's like it kind of just went downhill from there. Festo says, Bronny was terrible. I don't know if I'd say he was terrible, but I will say that he just didn't look like he belonged out there amongst men right now. His body just is not mature enough to be out there. And that's no shade towards him. There's a lot of guys that are like that. He just looked really small out there. But having said that, he made some decent plays. Let's see. Tyrone says, can Jackson Hayes start with AD? No, hell no. Hell no. Likes Dalton, Max, JHS, dislikes Castleton, Lewis, Rui, Hayes. JHS, I wouldn't say I liked it. Obviously, I said I didn't see enough from him to say I liked it. I didn't hate it. I just wish I would have seen more from him. But I do think it's nerves. I do think it's him working his way back after basically a wasted season last year. So we'll see. JHS versus Bronny, how better? I think that JHS will be able to get his shot off more in the NBA. I think JHS, he's just bigger. You know what I mean? He doesn't look. Bronny just looks really small out there to me. I like ball movement in the game. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. They're definitely, you can see there, you saw layers to what the Lakers are going to try to be doing. We did see that, which is encouraging. Now we'll have to wait and see, like, when they really open that playbook and really start playing what it is. What's going on, Craig? Jalen Hood is nothing special. I can see the special in Dalton K. Oh, yeah. Immediately you can see it in Dalton K. Immediately. I'd rather start Max over Rui. At least Max is fast and quick and can develop well. Yeah, but I'd rather have Max at the 2 than the 3. I'd rather have, like, if we're gonna have Max out there, then I'd rather have probably Austin off the bench. Have D'Lo, Max, then Rui out there. Braun and AD, right? I would like Max at the 2. If it's going to be a 3 replacing Rui, I would want that to be Vando. Rui is a 4, in my opinion, like David West type of Jeff Green. Yeah, he is. But again, that's that redundancy with Braun. I got Knecht or Max over Rui starting. I would too. To be honest with you, I wouldn't even be mad if it was Max and Dalton starting and have Rui and Reaves off the bench. I'm telling you, like, it's no shade to Austin. I just like what he brings off the bench. I feel like he plays the same way, whether he starts or comes off the bench, and he can still close games if he's got it going. But to start these games defensively, if Max continues to prove his worth, I think it's something they're going to have to consider. Rui got hurt in the Olympics too. Yep, facts. Savage says, you think Koloko will be better than Hayes, 2 different type of bigs, but I'd rather have a defender than rim runner. Hopefully he gets cleared quickly so he can play. Yes. Koloko would be my choice over Jackson Hayes. Like I told you, give me Koloko. Let me get El Pollo Koloko and Christian Wood and then AD and then whoever the other big is, right, is what I would want. That would be ideal to me. What's going on, KD? How you doing, sir? Appreciate you tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you're doing well as always. Let's see. Young Padawan, what's going on, man? JJ looked good, to be honest. I've seen more from his facial expressions in one game than Ham's 2 seasons in LA. You're right about that. I'm with you on that for sure. And I've touched on this too. We're going to have to be a little patient with JJ, and JJ is going to have to be a little patient with the process. I told you, he came in with all this equity, right? All the vibes, all the good talk. The machine is working heavy, pushing out all these talking points coming out of training camp to the media. That's all buying him time, right? But what's going to happen when they lose 3 in a row? And he's got to sit up there and answer questions with the media. That's when Darvin fell apart in front of the camera, is when he had to face the tough questions. Now, JJ is a type I think will stand up for his team, will push back if people are being unreasonable. But if a reporter is asking just a very simple question, like, where's the team's mindset right now? You guys have lost 3 in a row. You're heading out on the road. Do you think this is a time where you guys can kind of come together and kind of sort this out? And if JJ goes with, like, what are you talking about? You never played type of thing, like he did on ESPN, that's not going to fly. You know what I mean? So that's where I really want to see how JJ handles it when he starts getting asked the tough questions once the honeymoon is over. That's what I'm waiting for. I want to believe, and I think he's going to handle it. I think if someone gets out of pocket, I think that he will put them back in pocket, right? But outside of that, I think JJ has the making to be a good NBA coach. Will he be a great one? I don't know. But of all the guys that they were talking about this offseason, other than Hurley, he was the only guy that I felt had a chance to be a home run hire. Because the other guys, I felt their ceiling was not as high. And even though he's never coached a day in his life, I do still feel that because of his personality and his basketball intelligence, I did feel that his ceiling would be higher automatically. All right. So I still think that we got the guy with the highest ceiling, all the other candidates that were linking throughout most of the summer, other than Hurley coming out of nowhere. So it's going to take some time. He is a rookie head coach, but he has an excellent staff, and he's going to be able to lean on them. And even when he has his rough times, because we have that good staff, I think it's going to help us get through some things. I really, really do. Tony Lee, what's going on, man? Jalen game doesn't stand out to me, but he played well tonight. Yeah, Tony, you know what? I don't think it stands out either. That's what I'm saying. I haven't seen like a standout moment. I think you hit it on the head there. That's what I was trying to get to. There were some moments where I was like, okay, he handled that right. But there's a gang of people in the NBA who can make that play that he made there. There was no standout moment. You hit it on the head there. And for me, Jalen needs to start showing some standout moments. You know, he was a highly rated draft pick last year. A lot of people felt he slipped to the Lakers last year, and then he disappointed. Like Dalton Knecht, you knew immediately the first summer league game, right? JHS, immediately you knew, this doesn't look right. Doesn't look right. It's going to take time. Whereas you see Dalton connecting like, he could start for this team. Like he could start. Like how much better is Rui than him? Right? How much better is Austin than him? When you think about his size, his versatility, and his ability to defend better than those two, probably combined. So I think Dalton is someone, and I promise you, I'm not overhyping him, man. If he was 19, then it wouldn't be this. But because he's more seasoned, he's ready now. He's ready right now. But good job, Tony. Hit it on the head, like I said. We need a Euro center. We need something like that. Yeah, we need one of those big old monster villain-looking centers, man. That's exactly what we need. What's going on? What's going on, Sean? Why did Coach Darvin Ham get fired? He was a good coach. Look, Darvin was the wrong man at the wrong time. I am not as hard on Darvin as most everyone else. This was just not the team for him, and he was not the coach for them. He should not have been hired, and he should have been given a better staff. If you put Darvin on a team without LeBron and without any expectations, if you put Darvin somewhere else and gave him a somewhat decent staff like most teams would have, I think he would have had time to kind of grow into something. And there's a lot of people in the league who like and believe in him. You know, Milwaukee took him back immediately, right? But he was never the right guy for this job. He should have never been hired. I wouldn't go as far as say to call him a good coach. I don't think he was as terrible as people made him out to be. But I think it got to a point where he was. You know what I mean? Because I think he just threw in the towel. And at that point, when he knew it was lame duck status, he knew it was done. Players knew it was done. It just got so toxic. They should have got rid of him earlier. They didn't. And it's just a bad situation. I'm happy he got into the job, though. I'm happy he's still in the league because I think the situation sucked for everybody involved. So I'm happy that the Lakers moved on to someone that they liked and wanted. And I'm happy that Darvin got a job. Let's see. Our defense still needs to be better. Yes, it does. At least we got some assistant coaches that know defense, right? Hopefully they implement it. Yes, Dave McMillan is going to help tremendously with defense. He's going to help tremendously with discipline and holding people accountable. He's one of those guys that will get on a player if they act a fool. So ask Trae Young. That's what they got him for. So I love the staff. I love the staff. I love everything about what they did for that bench. Now it's about, I said on the pregame, it's like if you go to learn a language and they're teaching you the language, but then when you walk out in the street and get a chance to actually test the dialect and test the language, you don't use it. Well, that's what we got to worry about now. We got to hope that these players go out and do what JJ and the staff are instructing them to do. And then we'll know, what the buy-in looks like and how it looks. JHS got a weird shot. Looks like a big man. Yeah, JHS doesn't look too fluid out there at times, man. D'Lo, Reaves doesn't work defensively. We know who's getting traded. Just hope it's done earlier than later. If they do make a move for a player that can help the team, it's more than likely D'Lo that goes, unless he comes out and just has a monster start to the season to where the Lakers overthink it again, right? But now that it's an expiring contract, the Lakers could have moved D'Lo last year. They just didn't want to make moves to give up their pick. They just didn't want to attach it. And they could have moved D'Lo this offseason. They could have got DeJounte Murray. They just did not want to offer 2 unprotected first-round picks. No one did. The only team that was willing to do it were the Pelicans, and they got them. So the Lakers could have moved D'Lo. They just decided not to include assets that would have got the deal done. And as a result of that, he's still here. And if the price drops and the price is right, and there's a player out there that they've got their eyes on and that they want, well, then they're going to do something to make it happen. But it's going to be about timing. It's going to be about who that player is. And if the time is right and the player is right, they're going to make a move. They're going to. And that is exactly what the Lakers have to sit back and wait for. And we will see. We will see. When, I have no idea. Who, I have no idea. We're just going to have to wait and see. And hopefully it's sooner rather than later if it's, for a need, but it might not be. And that's kind of where we are right now. Shadow says, Ham in Detroit would have been a decent fit. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, so it's like, Detroit, even the Brooklyn situation, you know what I mean? Like something like that. Like a team that doesn't have any playoff aspirations, doesn't have a first ballot Hall of Famer on the team, doesn't have a ton of media coverage. Like, look, the man was not perfect, and the man brought a lot on himself. Don't get it twisted. But I also think to a point he got a raw deal. Like people were blowing things way out of proportion way too early. He never even really had a shot after that, in my opinion. Let's see. Pelicans is dumb for that trade. They still have CJ making 30 mil. Should have went for a big man first. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Pelicans confused me by doing that deal. And I think they confused a lot of the league. The league was like, why did they and they gave up 2 picks too. So maybe it works out, and maybe they flip Ingram for a big, right? Maybe that's the move that gets them a big. But they let Jonas Valanciunas walk, which again, depends what you think about him, right? But they let him walk. They don't go get the other big, and then they trade for DeJounte. And I never felt like that move made much sense when it happened. Like I didn't. That's just me. But we will wait and see how that turns out. But the Pelicans are a very interesting team, man. It all comes down to Zion, his health, his weight, and the rest kind of just is okay. What's next here, right? Can he stay healthy? Because we saw in the game that determined the standings for the play-in tournament, he had to leave the game, right? And basically his season was over. He was killing the Lakers in that game, killing them. They couldn't stop him. And then all of a sudden he's gone. And everyone's like, oh, they did that on purpose because they want to avoid so-and-so. They want to avoid Denver, right? That's what people were saying. But then he didn't play at all. So it was legit an injury. And that's the thing. Can he stay on the floor? Can he produce? What are you going to get with Ingram? Like these are serious questions. And I think everyone knows the talent that's on that team. Willie Green's a fairly good head coach. No, he gets them to play for him. Now he's got some beef, it looked like, with Ingram at the end of last year. We'll see how that shakes out. But this is why I'm saying, like, if the Lakers can get themselves a legitimate second big and they stay healthy, And this coaching staff can do things that the last coaching staff couldn't. There's no reason why this Laker team couldn't get between the 4 and 6 seed. There's really no reason why they can't. If LeBron and AD are healthy, they play the bulk of the season. If, right? There's a lot of ifs. But those ifs are realistic. Now, it's not realistic if AD and Braun miss any significant time. If other guys miss significant time that they lean on for heavy minutes. You know, if it takes the coaching staff a little while to figure some things out, which I don't think so, because the staff they have, I think their schemes and everything they need to run, I think will be fine. It's going to translate to the players on the floor and injuries is what we really need to keep a lookout for. Jano said, how'd MPJ do instead of Rui in this spot? To me, much more natural fit. Well, you don't get the defense, but natural fit offensively, as far as a guy who can catch and shoot, put the ball on the floor and shoot. He can get hot quick. He could fit, yeah, but he doesn't solve the defensive problems, in my opinion. Hunter from the Hawks could be a salary dump. Just looked at their books, holding off Jalen Johnson extension to sign free agents like Sixers did for Maxey. It would cost a first to dump him. Let me look him up real quick, because how long is his deal? If you're looking it up right now, let me take a look right here. I know who you're talking about. Like, I know the gist of it, but I don't remember the years. Let me load that up real quick. All right, so you're saying Hunter has, okay, yeah. So he's got this year so he's got this year and 2 more years after it. $23 and $24 million, which when the cap spikes isn't necessarily terrible. He's 27. He is a wing. 3 years, well, including this year, it's 3 years. The season hasn't started yet. So 3 seasons left on that deal. I mean, so let me ask you, Savage, what would be the move for you? Like, you're saying a salary dump, right? So they probably would, in that situation, they probably want D'Lo, right? Because they're looking to free up cap space. You'd get 2 years off the books, so you'd have free agency next year, right? Then you'd extend your, like you said, Johnson, and D'Lo's contract could technically get you off of that. Except the problem is the Lakers would have to send out more than just D'Lo in that deal. So maybe it's like a D'Lo. Even D'Lo in a mini isn't enough to, well, let me see. Actually, it might be. Be cutting it close, though. It'd be cutting it close. Let me see real quick. Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. I just want to check this out. So let's say they move Hunter. And okay, here we go. So let's say Hunter to the Lakers. I'm just throwing this together real quick. And let's say D'Lo and is expiring, right? And let's say they move, let's say another expiring in Jackson Hayes, right? So I don't believe that would be enough here. So the Lakers are still over that. And you can't aggregate another minimum. So you'd have to get a little crazy here, right? So if you make this deal with someone that you just signed this offseason, you have to wait, right? But if you add in, like, if you want to add to that and make it a bigger deal of like a Capella or something, right? But then if you're the Lakers, you're taking on longer deals. But if you get a first out of it, then things get nuts, right? Things get nuts. Bulls want Rui. But what they talking about though? For who? For what? They would want D'Lo and JHS for Hunter, and our first round pick back makes sense for both sides. So Atlanta would give a first pick and we'd give a first pick. So it'd be a first for a first. Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're like proposing there? Hey, if D'Lo doesn't get traded, do you think we can sign him for a minimum? Nah, D'Lo's not getting the minimum. D'Lo's a starting point guard in this league, y'all. He is. He's not going to get a minimum deal. D'Lo, his ability to shoot the basketball still will command a paycheck. a pretty decent one. Maybe the MLE. I would say the lowest he would fall to would be the high tier MLE, and that's going to even rise. So D'Lo's not a guy that teams will sign D'Lo because of his shooting. He that will happen. D'Lo for DFS, that's been talked about, but they want a first. Yeah, they do, but they want a first round pick to get off of DFS, and I'm not doing that. I'm not giving up a first round pick in 2029 for DFS. You don't even know what your team's going to be like then. Like that, you cannot get off a first for a guy like that. Hawks have our first round pick for 2025, giving it back because of salary dump. Okay. Hunter was available this offseason. Nobody was interested. Okay, gotcha. Okay. So D'Lo, JHS for Hunter and our 2025 back. Yo, I'd strongly consider that. The reason I would strongly consider that is because you would have 25, 26. You would have 28. Well, you couldn't trade 28. So you would have 25, which is now tradable once you get it back. You can't trade 26 because you traded 27. You can't trade 28 because you traded 27. And then you have 29 or 30 or 31 plus 25. You would now have 3 first round picks right now that you could move technically. On that alone, I wouldn't hate it. But it's all about what you think you can do with Hunter, what you think you could turn him into. Because 3 years at that money, there's a reason why they'd be sending that first round pick to get off of him. So you'd have to be damn sure that you can do something with him, either on your roster or flip him into another deal with those picks you have. You'd have to be damn sure about that. Hunter is like Rui. Yeah, but what I'm saying is the only reason I'd consider this deal is because of that first round pick, our first round pick back. And if we get that back and we now have 3 first round picks we can move and a deal comes up that you need salary filler in, then there's Hunter. So I want to ponder that. I want to throw some scenarios out. I'm gonna throw some packages out there. I'm gonna use that in kind of like and then kind of use it as something to kind of like build into another deal. I'm gonna see what I can find with that legally that could work. Like I said, because at that point the Lakers would have 25, and they could send 29 and 31 along with 25 if they got their pick back. And someone like Hunter and Rui for a pretty reasonable size contract for a reasonable player. So I'm gonna dive in on that. I'm gonna put some stuff together on that one. Young Padawan said, Jeff, who's better, AR or Dante? I would say right now, Dante. I think he's reached a point in his career. He had the early on when he played in Milwaukee. He left the year that they won the title, and then he came back after they won the title, and he kind of bounced around Sacramento, and then he goes to Golden State, had a really good season in Golden State to where he got the full mid-level from New York, had a good season there, and he's riding that momentum now, and I think he's going to have a very strong season in Minnesota. So I'm going to say Dante. I like Austin, but I'm going to say Dante. That's just my vote right now. But I think that I think Dante is going to have an incredible season. I think he's a very good player. I think Austin's a good player too, but I think Dante potentially is going to stand out this year. I think he has a chance to have a standout year, and it's exactly what Minnesota is going to need him to have, and I think he's going to have it. He's a very good player. Fits the role very well. Fits exactly what Minnesota is going to need. And like I said, Austin is a good player. But I feel that I would take Dante if I was like choosing between the two. Like they're both free agents, I would take Dante. I like Austin, but Dante could start, and Austin does start. But Dante to me is a starter like on this team. Like we had him, he would start over Austin, in my opinion. Raymond, what's going on, Raymond? I just turned. I'm surprised at the panic and whining. Such juvenile behavior. You kids thought getting rid of him was it. Wrong. Now y'all want to talk deals. One preseason game, new coach. Pitiful. No, I mean, like I said, first of all, one preseason game is never enough to judge on anything. Two, I was never really a guy that was really hard on him, to be honest with you. And three, like it is I don't know who's panicking or whining. I think that the concerns I have with this team are the same concerns I had before this game even started. The same concerns I had with the team last season. And they really didn't do anything but change the coaching staff, which I do love that move. As far as it's not even like replacing Darvin. It's replacing a coaching staff that just wasn't right because Darvin's assistants were not great. And then replacing it with a staff that's a real staff. So that is an upgrade. It's not even shade at Darvin. It's just Darvin didn't have a staff. So replacing that does that. Now, as far as one game and changing the coach is way too early to even, I said before the game, I have no idea what this team is going to be yet. I don't have really high expectations. I am excited to see what they're going to be. I'm still in that lane. I don't know what they're going to be yet. I don't think anyone really does. But as far as, I don't know if you're talking about me or other channels. I don't know, but I wouldn't definitely consider what I'm saying whining or panicking. I literally said, wow, people shouldn't be doing that. You know what I mean? But this is a team that it's going to have to get to know each other again because of the coaching staff, because of new systems. And even though these guys were on the same team last year, a lot of guys were hurt. So it's going to be an adjustment period. But as far as panicking and whining, I don't know who's doing that, nor I don't know why they should be doing that. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't know if he's talking about us or me, or if he's bouncing from channel to channel and just saying that's kind of the temperature out there. I don't know. Let's see. Reason we talking deals is because we seen this team and now what they about. No, I mean, we've been talking deals since the offseason. We're only really talking deals because they really haven't made any deals, right? So we know a deal is going to happen. We're all just like looking what's potentially out there, trying to forecast. You know what I mean? That's all it is. Savage said nobody is panicking. Lakers didn't make moves. They needed moves already. We know we flawed. Yeah, pretty much. Let's see. Raven says, read the chats. You'll see the whining and panic. Didn't say you. What you say about Darvin may be true, but that's not the narrative. Oh, no, I hear you. I agree with you on that. I consider myself a guy that doesn't fall for the narratives. I call myself the slayer of false narratives, right? I had a lot of people like not follow me anymore because I was kind of sticking up for Darvin in some situations. I've said multiple times that multiple people just jumped on the Darvin bandwagon because they just wanted something to blame, and they really couldn't really break it down, really, right? So they just had to point it at him. This team has bigger and more problems than just Darvin. I've been saying that since last season. So I'm still in the same space I was. You know what I mean? I'm still waiting to see. Matter of fact, my whole kind of mantra for this season has been, and maybe you're new here, so you don't know that. But my whole mantra has been, this team needs to show me. I'm not listening to them anymore. The words don't impact me. I need to see it on the court. And that's where I'm at. But I wouldn't say the chat is panicking. I think the chat is just continuing the conversation for what we were talking about towards the end of last season and into the summer. And like I said, maybe you're new here, so you just haven't seen that before here. But this really isn't a panic channel, nor is it really like a tantrum channel, right? You know what I mean? I really try to keep an even balance here. I respect everyone's opinion, including yours. You're free to give it, as long as you're respectful, as long as everyone else is respectful. But as far as panicking and whining, I don't think there's even a reason to do either right now. You know what I mean? That's just my opinion. But as far as the Darvin thing, I'm with you on that. I think everyone blaming Darvin 100% was lazy. I still believe that. I still say that. I don't really care who gets upset about that because I believe that to be true. And having said that, he had to go, though, because it was done. Like, there was no coming back. It was too toxic. And I'm happy he got another job, you know. So, but outside of that, yeah, I definitely don't think there's any type of, I'm, whining in the chat. And I definitely don't think I'm doing that. You know what I mean? I just watched the team. I observed the team. I love my team. I love this team. But at the end of the day, I'm not with the narratives. I'm not with all the hot takes. I'm not with any of that. You know what I mean? I just watch the game, see what it is, break it down, and go from there. I don't really bring any of the nonsense or drama. You know what I mean? But outside of that, if I did, I'd probably have a lot more subs and a lot more views, right? But it's just not who I am. I don't want that. I don't want to be known for that. You know what I mean? That's a dime a dozen. I don't want to be known for that. So outside of that, like I said, you're free to your opinion, but maybe it's because you're new here. But I can vouch for these guys in this chat. They're not whining. They're continuing the same conversation that we've been having for almost a year and a half now. And that's all it is. It's just continuity. Patrick, what's going on, my brother? Hope you're doing well. Thank you for tuning in. Raymond says again, not talking about you, bro. Read my comment. I'm talking about people in the chat. Take your time, bro. you got all did. What do you mean did? What are you talking about? Bronny, you said Bronny looking good? No, I don't think that. Exactly. Wanted something to blame. Yeah, and that's what it is. No, again, I'm not saying you're blaming me. I'm not saying that. Like I said, it's text. Sometimes you can't hear someone's intention in the words they're typing sometimes, right? Sometimes you need clarification and context is all it really is. Let's see. He said, chill, bro. I am new, but recognize this space is my space from my view. Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. Chill, not personal. I'm trying to give love, but you don't seem to want it. Cool. No, I'm actually agreeing with you. I don't know. I'm actually agreeing with you. Your take on JJ sets and overall coaching for this game. You know what? It's hard to really tell right now. Let's see. It's hard to tell because you didn't have Braun, you didn't have AD. It's gonna take some games, Pat, and it's gonna take some weeks, really. We don't really know yet because they haven't even probably used their true sets yet. And like I said, Braun and AD didn't play. We're not going to know for a few weeks. In 23 playoffs versus Denver, what did you think as we were in those games and always got close but never got it done? I just felt that Denver was the better team, and better teams pull away in the clutch moments. They were a better team. They won a championship. They swept us. They took us in 5. Look, we could talk all we want about we led them the whole game. It doesn't matter. We didn't lead at the end of the game. I don't understand why people can't grasp that. They hold on to, we led most of the game. It doesn't matter. How many times ask Utah about that? Ask Utah about that versus the Bulls. Ask them. It don't matter how much of the game you lead if you don't lead at the end. Then, see, the thing is, I don't think people are giving Denver enough credit for knowing that they could just flip the switch on us. I think people are sitting back acting like we lost because it was 100% our fault. Like, I think people really believe that. Like Denver had nothing to do with it. Denver was better than us. That's all it was. I got no problem admitting that. People got pride, and again, people need something to blame. But at the end of the day, good teams pick apart teams at the end of games that they're better than. And that's what Denver did to us. I love the Lakers. I wanted them to win every one of those games. I was pissed when they lost those games. But at the end of the day, when you're watching, that team just closed out games better than us. They just walk you down. Final 5 minutes of a game. JHS looking balanced on the floor. I didn't see anything stand out from him. Like I said, we were talking about that earlier. I'm waiting to see, if that was just nerves and jitters for the first game. I don't know. I don't think I'm in a position to really make a judgment on him yet. This is going to take time, man. It's going to take time to see him. And I know I've said that on multiple things. That's because, again, it's really hard to gauge anything on the first preseason game. It's really tough. Rotations are weird. There's a lot of turnovers. There's a lot of bricks. All these things happen in early on in preseason. Looking back, I understand Malone's frustration. I remember when Rui had some stops on Jokic and the media said, oh, they got something. That was when I knew it was over for us, when Malone caught that. Yeah, not just that, but there were Laker fans saying, oh, we found it in game one. We found it. Like, you found what? Anthony Davis can't stop Joker. You think Rui's gonna? All they did was catch him off guard in a possession or two. It threw him off and they countered and it was over. But there were Laker fans out here acting like, oh, we found it. Oh, it's ours. We got it now. Acting like they won game one, right? You're right. Same thing. But they were walking around acting like we won it because they put Rui on him for a couple possessions. And it was never going to work. AD couldn't stop him. How was Rui going to? How was Rui going to? Good luck. That's what I'm saying, man. Like, it doesn't... These narratives are wild, man. Narratives are wild. And narratives are like fire. They spread. And people grab onto them. And because they don't come up with their own opinions, they run with the crowd, right? And it just gets louder and eventually turns into a mob. And it's a bunch of people spewing the same thing that someone thought up and a bunch of people ran with. It just is what it is. Like, I'll take that debate over. I'll take that conversation with anyone, because at the end of the day, just because you were in every game or leading in every game does not mean you were the better team. Because what happened in the final 5 minutes? No one cares if you're better for the first 43 minutes of a basketball game. How were you the final 5? Doesn't matter how long you led during the basketball game. Who led at the end of it? Many, many playoff games and series have gone that same exact way, but those narratives didn't exist. If we have 9-man rotation, who is the 9th man on our team? The 9th man, probably Jackson Hayes, unfortunately, right now. So you're going to have the starting 5. It's going to be D'Lo, Austin, Rui, Braun, AD. You're going to have Max Christie. You're going to have Vando eventually. Eventually, you're going to have Christian Wood. You're going to have Gabe Vincent, Dalton Knecht. So that's 10 right there. So right now, you're going to have to take out Vando. You're going to have to take out Christian Wood. And then you got to put in Jackson Hayes for that 9th guy. And maybe am I missing someone? I think I got everyone. So that's where the 9th guy is right now. I was wrong about Gabe, but man, he looked like Heat Gabe. That's what the Lakers need on the bench. Him, Knecht, and Max are good bench pieces. Absolutely. I told you guys that earlier in the pregame. Gabe just got hurt, man. People act like he got a check and wanted to sit there. Gabe's a competitor. If you guys watched him in that Miami Heat playoff run, Gabe's the guy you want on your team. He's not going to go out there and give you like 35 every night, 30 every night, but he's a guy that can help you win games. And he just got hurt, man. That's all it was. I also knew we had no chance when Ham started barbecue chicken lineup. Dennis, D'Lo, Reaves. We were cooked. Yeah, I mean, they tried to go to 3-guard, right? Because the analytics said they picked the wrong time to look at analytics. They really didn't use it all year, and they decided to look at it because that lineup had a lot of success during the regular season at moments and stretches, but not starting it. And that's when it kind of fell apart. Yeah, but that lineup had success in the right situation. That was not it. They had too much size for it. Never made sense. Knecht, not in the rotation. Yeah, he will. Did I not mention him? Did I leave out Knecht? I thought I said him. Knecht is going to be in the rotation and get minutes. If I let him out, I got to recount that. But Knecht is a top 8 for sure. For sure. He's a really good player, man. And he's going to be good for a long time. Very long time. And again, we got one in him. We definitely got one in him. He's a real good player and a very poised player. And like I said, I like the fact that he is younger. I mean, not as young. But 1 second, please. Okay. So on that note, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down. I appreciate you guys tuning in. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. But I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down. I gotta get up out of here tonight. Gotta get up early. Got the Dodger game. Got the Dodger game tomorrow. So I'll definitely check in with you guys tomorrow. Hope you guys enjoyed the game. Hope you guys enjoyed the shows tonight. Be a little patient. We got a lot going on with the Lakers right now. Give them a little bit of time. The sky is not falling. We're not whining. Just give us some time, and we'll see what this team is. We don't know yet. But go Lakers. Go Dodgers. Thank you guys for tuning in all night tonight, really. We back covering basketball. I will catch you guys tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. Enjoy your Saturday. I appreciate you guys, man. I'm out.